Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. General Hospital spoilers. Ava gets out on bail, visits Metro Court. Carly warns she's safer in jail. General Hospital, GH. Spoilers reveal that Ava Jerome, Maura West, will make a bold move during the week of August 12 to 16. It looks like Scott Baldwin, Kin Shriner, will manage to get Ava out on bail, perhaps with a little help from John Jagger Cates, Adam J. Harrington, since he's become her knight in shining armor. Of course, you think Ava would want to avoid the Metro Court after everything that happened there. Ava's worst nightmare kicked off when Christina Corinthos Davis, Kate Mancy, flew out the window of her suite, so the hotel isn't favorite place to be. Likewise, Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, threw John out, so the Metro Court is really somewhere he should be avoiding too. Nevertheless, the Metro Court restaurant is exactly where Ava and John will end up. John may argue they need to send a message that they're not cowering in fear, so he'll treat Ava to a few glasses of bubbly thereafter her ordeal in lockup. Naturally, it won't take long for Carly to pop up and flip her lid. Carly may order John and Ava to get out before she has security force them out instead. Ava and John might ultimately relent on finding somewhere else to drink and dine, but Carly will want to deliver a presumably grim warning before they go. Since Carly knows what Sonny Corinthos, Morris Bernard, is capable of, she may urge Ava to remember that while she's walking around free. Carly may act like Ava was safer in jail since Sonny will be coming for her one way or another. Although Carly will probably manage to rattle Ava a bit, John will no doubt offer more reassurance about protecting Ava from any harm Sonny might do. Between the loss of Christina's baby and the placebo situation, Sonny has good reasons to go after Ava and make her pay. Our GH predictions hint that some dangerous circumstances could be looming for both Ava and John, so we'll bring you updates on all the risky drama. General Hospital spoilers say Sonny will make a vow to Christina and plan to do whatever it takes to stop Ava's reign of terror, so don't miss all the alarming news to come. Ava Jerome was free, but not in the way that she had hoped. As the heavy iron doors of Pentonville clanged shut behind her, she took in her first breath of freedom, though it was tainted by the lingering scent of fear. The world outside hadn't changed in her brief time behind bars, but her world certainly had. She was out on bail, but the dangers that had placed her there were far from over. Her first stop wasn't to the Jerome Gallery or even to her daughter Avery's side. It was to the Metro Court. It was a calculated move, one that spoke to her relentless need to reclaim the power she felt slipping through her fingers. The Metro Court was neutral territory, and it was the last place she wanted to be, but there was one person she needed to see. Ava strode into the grand lobby of the hotel with her head held high, her dark hair cascading around her shoulders like a veil of shadows. The Metro Court was buzzing with its usual activity, businessmen on power lunches, tourists gawking at the grandeur, and the ever-present hum of deals being made over glasses of champagne. But Ava was oblivious to it all. Her focus was on one thing, Carly Corinthos. Carly was behind the bar, pouring a drink for a patron with the ease of someone who had spent years mastering the art of multitasking. But the moment she caught sight of Ava, her movements stilled. Their eyes locked, and for a moment, the busy Metro Court lobby seemed to fall silent. Ava's stride didn't falter as she approached Carly, the clack of her heels on the marble floor echoing like a warning. "Well, if it isn't Port Charles' reigning queen," Ava said, her voice dripping with a mix of sarcasm and venom. Carly's lips curled into a smirk, but her eyes remained cold. "Ava, I see the system failed us once again." Ava leaned against the bar, her posture relaxed but her eyes sharp. "Disappointed to see me out, Carly?" Don't worry, I'm not planning on staying long. I just thought I'd let you know that your attempts to keep me behind bars didn't quite work out. Carly let out a humorless laugh as she placed a glass on the bar in front of Ava. I didn't have to do much, Ava. You dug your own grave. But if you're here for a drink, I'd suggest you take it to go. The Metro Court's a little too classy for someone with your reputation. Ava's smile was as thin as a knife's edge. You'd be surprised how fast reputations can change, Carly. After all, yours has survived more than one scandal. Carly leaned in, her voice dropping to a whisper meant only for Ava's ears. Whatever you're planning, Ava, I'm telling you right now, you're safer in jail. You've made enemies, and they're not the forgiving kind. This town might forget, but they don't forgive. Ava's eyes narrowed, the weight of Carly's words settling on her like a shroud. She knew Carly wasn't just bluffing. Port Charles was a town built on secrets and lies, and Ava had made more than her fair share of enemies. But fear was a luxury she couldn't afford, not now, not ever. I appreciate the concern, Carly, but I've never been one to hide. Ava replied, her voice steady, though her heart was pounding. And as for enemies, well, you should know by now that I don't go down without a fight. Carly's expression softened just a fraction, enough to reveal the woman beneath the armor of sarcasm and steel. This isn't about fighting, Ava. This is about survival. And right now, your chances aren't looking too good. Ava reached for the glass in front of her, swirling the amber liquid inside. She was silent for a moment, considering Carly's words. But then, with a defiant tilt of her head, she downed the drink in one gulp and placed the glass back on the bar with a decisive clink. I survived worse. Carly sighed, her fingers tapping rhythmically on the bar as she watched Ava. Seek yourself, but don't say I didn't warn you. Ava gave her a curt nod, turning to leave, but Carly's voice stopped her mid-step. Ava, whatever you think you're going to accomplish by being out here, it's not worth it. You've got a daughter who needs her mother. Don't make her visit you in a grave instead of a jail cell. Ava froze, her back to Carly, the words hitting her like a punch to the gut. She had been so focused on reclaiming her life, her power, that she had almost forgotten the most important thing, Avery. Her little girl, the one person in this world who loved her unconditionally, despite everything. But love was a double-edged sword, and in Port Charles, it was often the sharpest weapon of all. Without turning around, Ava spoke, her voice softer now, almost vulnerable. You don't get to tell me how to be a mother, Carly. But I'll take your advice under consideration. Carly didn't reply, and Ava didn't wait for one. She walked out of the Metro Court as quickly as she had entered, the weight of Carly's words heavy on her shoulders. Outside, the sun was setting, casting long shadows across the streets of Port Charles. The truth was, she wasn't entirely sure what she was doing. Getting out on bail had been a victory, but it was hollow. Her enemies were still out there, and they were undoubtedly waiting for her to make her next move. She had to be smart, cautious, but more than anything, she had to protect Avery. As she walked through the city, the familiar sights and sounds of Port Charles felt alien to her, as if she was seeing them for the first time. The world had changed, or maybe she had. Either way, nothing was the same anymore. Ava's phone buzzed in her pocket, pulling her out of her thoughts. She glanced at the screen, an unknown number. Her heart skipped a beat as she answered it, her voice wary. Hello. The voice on the other end was low, menacing. Have a Jerome. Enjoy your freedom while it lasts. You won't have it for long. Ava's blood ran cold as the line went dead. She looked around, suddenly feeling exposed, vulnerable. Carly had been right. She was safer in jail. But it was too late for that now. The game had already begun, and Ava was determined to play it her way. But as she made her way back to her apartment, every shadow seemed darker, every sound more ominous. The truth was, she didn't know who her enemies were or how many of them were out there. All she knew was that they were coming for her, and she had to be ready. Ava Jerome was a survivor, but even survivors had their limits. And as the night closed in around her, she couldn't shake the feeling that this time, she might have gone too far.